Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, here at not the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, but it got a little better. We are at AMA Vintage Days in wonderful Mid-Ohio.
Yeah!
Woo-hoo! Yes, where you get to be a kid and an adult all at the same time for 4 days straight. Well, we do anyway.
Exactly. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and yeah, we are here at Vintage Days. This is our big event that we talk about, Moto, Cleveland Moto, we all talk about. We can't wait to get here.
Yeah.
We're still at the beginning of the weekend.
Last night, I made the comment at the burnout competition, which last night, I don't know what time it was, probably midnight, and what did we see do burnouts? It was an XR100 that did a burnout for about 3 minutes straight. People were lighting their cigarettes off the manifold.
Glowing pipes.
I think he chugged a couple of beers in the process. Then I think it was the H3 mini bike with the drag bar got on. It did the burnout. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever, talking to Wendy and her husband. And I said, wait a minute, it hasn't even started yet.
No, so let's, that would of course be the dulcet tones of Naked Jim.
Yes. Yeah, happy to be here. And I just want to say shout out to Phil and Cleveland Moto, the best hosts on the planet.
And of course, running sound, we got Bagel.
Hello. Greetings. Whoa. Greetings, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just the beginning of the weekend. It just officially started today, but for us, it started yesterday. And more people. It filled up with all the people coming early, racers, vendors, and stuff. But it was a full event.
It felt like it was like already going full bore. And then, but the people kept, and bikes. I've never seen so many motorcycles in one place in my whole life.
No, and that's the thing. It's a celebration of the weird.
Yeah.
But you will see the most Trail 70s in your life here.
I've seen the most three-wheeled two-stroke vehicles that I've never seen in my life before here, like last night.
And Bagel, how's the scooter representation?
There's a good number of scooters around here. A lot of smaller bikes, but yeah, there's a few around.
I'm happy to say I just did 3 parade laps on a scooter.
Yeah, I've seen several Vespas in the swap meet area for sale, Vespas or Stellas.
Well, we'll get to that. I mean, right off the bat, once we get the camp set up a bit, Jim and Stumpy John and I headed off on the just scooters that around. I think I was on a 49cc Vespa, and went off into the woods to the hair scramble trails.
Immediately.
You were a bit hesitant at first as I descended down into the woods.
I've done this so many times, I know how it works. So as we're descending into the hair scramble course in the woods on these little scooters, all I know is they're Phil's bikes. I'm like, this is not my bike. I really need to be careful with this. You know, I'm respectful. But I know Liza's like, come on, let's go. And me and John are like, I don't know. But I know how this ends, is we always end up going. And over hill and dale and creek and stump, we did. And again, the event hasn't even started yet.
No. So right off the bat, we're having fun. Bagel, you haven't been out there yet.
No, not yet.
We got to show you.
Yep.
It's more fun on a scooter.
A small bike.
It is.
Here's what I'll say. I think everything here is more fun on a small bike.
That is true. The swap meet is as big as ever. There are lots of vendors here. We've got our friend Wendy Crockett. Has joined us, and she's here with the Vintage Rides booth. I'm going to talk to her later. Mark from Mimi and Moto is here. Make sure you stop and say hi.
Yeah.
Making new friends. Icon is here.
Yeah. We got listeners.
Plenty of listeners coming by, and our camp has gotten so big.
Oh, it's the size of a football field. At least. It's a neighborhood, and we're going to have our own gang shortly.
It is, but it's more like a reunion now.
Yeah.
Where we're seeing people we've met before and people we haven't met. I just met a guy named Charles. Let me tell you about Charles. Well, I'm going to interview him later because he was lined up to do the parade lap, which is not a race, but I did win. We'll get to that. And Charles was riding a NS125 kind of dirt bike with one arm.
Oh, wow.
And all the controls on one hand. He was operating the throttle, brake, and clutch are all on the right side. He even cut the left handlebar off.
And I saw, and he had his
arm is in a sling. It's a full arm, but he was in an accident, got nerve damage in his paralyzed arm.
I got it.
And I asked him, how long have you been riding like this? He goes, 2 weeks.
What?
Wow.
And he's getting on the track.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's the most amazing, fascinating people here, but everyone is here. They just want to have fun, and it's light and fun, and
incredibly family oriented.
Yeah, so we're going to be going around and finding a lot of these fun people and stories and doing some interviews. Tomorrow we're doing a live podcast in the infield with Moto and Cleveland Moto, so look for that. It's just say, so Jim and I just came off of the parade lap. Jim, was that your first time on a full-size track? No, you've done Laguna Seca.
Yeah, I've done Laguna Seca.
How was this? This was described. How many bikes was there? Like 100?
Easily 100. I would say 100 to 150 would be my guess.
And from large touring bikes.
Well, in the rider meeting, the guy summed it up, or it got summed up, I'll say. He goes, hey, we're out here having a good time. We got everything from 1,200cc bikes to, 125cc bikes. Guy next to me goes, and 50.
I saw a Raz scooter next to me. How big are those, Bagel?
Those are 50s.
I'm like, that's the guy I don't want to be passed by. Like, do not.
But again, this is why the small bikes are fun here, because if you're on, if I'm on my Suzuki here, I'm not going to go more than 50 miles an hour, something like that, and so it's going to feel slow. But on a little bike, doing 55 through the turns feels really fun.
Oh yeah.
So again, the little bikes are great.
I got up to 69.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Go Benelli, go.
69 in that back straightaway. It was a bit scary.
Wow.
But it felt good.
Yeah.
And so we're going around now. I would say it's not a race, but I do have my own race going on. Most people don't know. In fact, it makes it even better because it makes kind of traffic that you have to pass, right? Which you can do on the little bike. So my rule is, and they have a riders meeting, and they always have a VP. We were riding with Hall of Famer Steve Wise.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's riding on a lead bike, and you've got a camera car in front of him. Then behind him is a guy in a vest, and he's like the control rider. You're not allowed to pass the control rider. So my race is to get to the front of the pack and be the first rider behind the control rider. Mm-hmm. And I warned him ahead of time, like, just so you know, if you have some asshole riding your tail, that's me.
That's so Liza. Just so you know, I appreciate the rules. I'm going to break them right out the gate.
I didn't know. I said, I'm not breaking the rules. I'm not going to pass you. Mm-hmm. But I will get as close to you as I can. And he's like, fair enough.
Like, whatever.
Fair enough.
You and about 10 other people.
We're going around 3 laps, and I'm fiercely making my way up towards the front, And then about lap 2, come up, another guy on a green Benelli is next to me. We're like, thumbs up, the game on, right? So now we're jockeying. And we're working our way towards the front. And I get myself up to that front lead rider, right? The control rider. And here's a guy on a dirt bike who passes him and then catches up to Steve Wise and is riding next to him. There's always one.
There's always one.
There's always one. And I'm like, ugh.
There's the guy.
There's the idiot, but he's disqualified because he passed the controlled rider. We're on the last lap. We're coming up to the checkered line. I got a guy on a big touring bike comes up past me. I don't have speed. He goes up alongside the control rider, and as we're passing the checkered line, he just inches in front of him, and I am the next rider behind the controlled biker.
So his violation of the controlled bike space allowed you to...
I won by my own definition of not breaking any rules.
Considering this is a competition of one, I think you can make up whatever rules you want.
In a field of 150, I know.
But it is your third in a row, so congratulations
I have
on your
run
triple
3
crown
times in a row.
victory.
But you were saying before you went out, we're going to hang in the back and not
I started in the back. No, I start in the back and work my way to the front.
See.
If you start in the front, what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
I started in the back. But by the time we were on the actual grid, I had worked my way up to halfway. So I just...
It's a hoot. It's great.
It was fun. So
it's
that's
great.
an example of the kind of fun we're having here.
Well, and even just coming here for the ride, it's like you go through all these vendor places. I'm looking at the Wall of Death out the window now. You got Triumph rides. You got Royal Enfield rides. You got a bunch of representation from other, kind of other gear manufacturers. I mean, everywhere you look, there's motorcycle stuff. Not to mention motorcycles, literally, and mini bikes flying every which way.
And scooters.
Yeah.
Yep.
And tons of scooters.
Speaking of which, should we take Bagel on the off-road course?
I think. Well, if the hair
Oh wait, they're
scramble's
still
going
racing.
on, yeah, I think the
Maybe
hair
we should
scramble's
wait
happening.
till the race is done.
We'll wait till nighttime. We'll wait for dark.
Take a Buddy 50 out there.
Yes.
All you need is a Buddy 50 and a GIMP mask. You're good to go.
We have all of those things.
Imagine that.
And here's the other crazy thing. We always talk about this. This is where bad ideas come to fruition.
And expand. Yes.
But rarely do people get injured, which is weird. Oh,
Well,
speaking of bad ideas, my sidecar
yes.
rig.
yeah, that was interesting.
You don't know if you don't try.
So here's the thing. I found this company that makes sidecars, and they said that they could custom make a mount to put it onto my little Benelli 135. Sent it off to Virginia, had it put on it. It looks kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But right off the bat, there were some problems. One being that Phil said, this is the number one most dangerous bike I've ever ridden in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, come on,
Phil's
Phil.
ridden a lot of dangerous bikes.
You've ridden a lot. Come on, Phil.
Yeah, and he's well versed in sidecars.
Yes, yes.
So, like, how bad can it be? So I got on the bike, and I just went down the road, and I tried to make a right turn, and it started tipping over. Here's the thing. At the factory, when they built this sidecar, we later found out, they mounted the wheel and shock pivot bracket upside down. So what happened was the wheel was mounted lower than it's supposed to, which pushed the sidecar higher, which made the bike leaning over, so when you sat on it still, you were at the tip point.
Right. Well, actually, you're probably compressing the suspension of the bike, so you're leaning
Yeah.
the bike even farther to the left.
So when you're just sitting still, you're at the tip point. All you do is nod your head to the left, and the whole bike will flip.
And the sidecar wheel wasn't compressing because the suspension was already at its limit because it was upside down, basically.
It was a mess,
Yeah.
which didn't stop MotoG Pete from trying to ride it in the barrel races.
Pete is the hardest charging mofo that I've met. He is fearless.
And I was watching him, and his system he came up with, you'd think, so the sidecar's on the right, so you should be good for all left turns. But even that was hard. So he figured out that he could just lean the bike up and get that sidecar in the air and then make the left turn. That's like you are defeating the whole purpose of a sidecar, 100%.
He, as much as everyone else feared that sidecar, he embraced that sidecar. It was
In fact, he
fascinating.
embraced it to breaking it.
Thank God. Well, then we figured out it
Yes.
was built upside down.
And he broke it because the stress points were all working against each other because it was mounted upside down. We brought it back to camp, and I'm like, take it off. Like, I'm done. It's a wash. But he and his dad, who's an engineer, jumped in there, figured out it was all assembled wrong, took it apart, put everything back together. We're going to try it again. What do you think? I want to know from you guys. What do you think the odds are that it has a medium level of expectation of fun?
I think it will be rideable, actually.
Oh.
I think it will.
I think someone should definitely try it. Not any of us.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I think what was the final comment? It's like an ornamental feature now. It's better, but it's more ornamental than functional.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Anyway,
I have hope. I have hope. But again, the day is young.
Yeah.
The weekend is just beginning. We're making so many friends and having such good time. So let's go out there, see what we can find, and let's start getting some stories to share.
Yeah, it won't be hard.
No, not at all.
And maybe some meat on a stick. That sounded good.
Hey, we're here with Paul from Replica Motorcycle Parts, and I'm looking at a table of different parts for different bikes. And tell us a little bit. So tell us what you do, and you know what problem you want to solve.
So what we do is we make replica of obsolete motorcycle parts, specifically any make and model. What we really are is a technology company. We've developed the products, the process and the knowledge to go back and remake a part using a 3D printing process.
Okay.
So we make parts out of rubber, we make parts out of plastic, we make parts out of steel, aluminum,
Nylon.
nylon.
Yeah, I think you were saying there are like 7 different materials
Yeah,
for
we
it.
have 7 different materials.
Even on the rubbers, isn't there different like elasticities?
Yeah, there's different hardnesses. So we go all the way from what's called a Shore A 60 up to a Shore D. So we can do, and the difference is each different hardness fits a different application. So this is a chain slider. It's loose to go on, but you want it to be wear resistant. This is a very soft part that mounts an air filter. It's got to be contorted to put on. It has to be very soft to absorb the vibration. And they're all properly engineered, so this is resistant to gas, resistant to grease, all that stuff.
So tell us, for those of us who are ignorant in this, tell us from a layman's point of view, what's the process to do 3D printing in different materials like this?
So the first thing you do is you have to create a digital version of the part, right? So what we do is we go back and we get an original part, we measure it, and using a 3D CAD program, we create a digital version of it. All right, so it looks, it's a computerized implementation of that part. We'll print out a couple of different pieces of it to measure it, verify, do some design verification. Then we end up with the final model. We create it's called an STL file, which is a triangulated version of it, and we send it through a program called a slicer, which creates a G-code which breaks it down into layers. In 3D printing, we do everything by layers.
And you said it was 4 microns?
80 microns.
80 microns.
So we can do 20, 40, and 80 microns.
So for comparison, what is a hair?
Oh, I don't know. Somewhere around that size.
Okay. So, but it's
it's incredibly small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dimensional accuracy, we're running about 7/1000ths of an inch.
Okay.
So, as you see, the 3D spline fits on perfectly, engages perfectly, and that's a feature that's less than, I think that's probably 25 thou. So we can create some pretty small details on a part.
Now, did you do the gear also, or just the
Right now, we've just done the knuckle.
Okay, and that's for a Kickstarter.
That's for a Kickstarter. We will do the gears. We'll do the pawls. There's nothing stopping us from doing that.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I mean, I think 3D printing isn't that new, but we've all seen plastic.
Yes.
So metal, aluminum, steel, how is that process? If it's not milling and it's not welding, how are you creating?
So it's a what's called sintering. So what you do is you use a laser on a powder.
Oh, okay.
And the size of the powder is very, very small, and you get different shapes of powder. And it's all done that way, and then the laser melts it, and you do it layer by layer.
Oh, two-stroke man coming through.
Vintage motorcycle days.
Vintage motorcycle days. To get the sound waves coming and going. So you create it's built up by layer, but the layer thicknesses is so small, and there's a residual effect from the heat below, that it's what's called isotropic. So it's solid. So even though you build it by layers, you don't have an issue with strength. It's the same strength in every axis.
And you're using different, so you could eventually you could do kind of very hardened steel, high quality, and then lower quality stuff.
Yeah. Right now we do aluminum. We got 2 different grades of aluminum. Stainless steel, 2 different grades. We have 2 grades of tool steel. So what's happened in the 3D printing marketplace was, whether it's plastic or metal, all the original patents have expired.
Okay. Oh, right.
All right. So now there's just been an explosion of people coming into the marketplace, not just with 3D printing equipment, but with materials. Every month there's a new formulation of aluminum or stainless or a different plastic composite comes out.
Titanium?
Titanium exists as well. Yep, you can print in titanium. You can print in different grades of copper. As some people know, there was a rocket set off a couple of months ago that was 80% 3D printed.
Really?
And most of the engine was all 3D printed in copper aluminum alloy.
Wow.
So it's pretty crazy.
So this is kind of game-changing for the restoration world. Bagel, you must be kind of going nuts here.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the scooter world, there are a lot of parts that are just not able to, you just can't find them anymore.
Yeah.
And to have this as a resource is huge. And looking at the quality of the metal parts here, I know that a lot of people associate 3D printing with sort of like plastic pieces where it's sort of like not super fine resolution, and they have these visible lines and ridges in it.
Yeah.
The metal, it's like you don't even see that. It's just a solid surface.
Yeah,
it's really impressive.
A lot of people's familiarity with 3D printing is based on the consumer printers,
Right.
the low-cost Chinese versions and stuff. We do industrial printers. These are much more expensive, much more refined processes.
Yeah.
Similar approach, similar technology. They're just done better. And then because we design the part, we take into consideration it's going to be printed. So there are certain things that you make, you accommodate when you design it, so it comes up nicer.
Right.
All right. So you avoid certain radiuses, certain types of edges, and stuff like that. So you don't sacrifice anything in the part,
Yeah.
but you get a better part at the
Yeah.
end.
Now, do you need to do any sort of machining afterwards after the printing?
No, I hate
Really?
post-processing.
Wow. That's
I
really
don't,
convenient.
I don't even like painting.
Yeah.
So on the Kickstart knuckles, the only thing I did was tap it.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. So if somebody is needing a part for a project they're working on,
Yep.
so they have to have a part to scan first? Okay.
Well, we don't scan, but they have to
But-
give us a part to
Yes,
make.
to measure.
Yeah.
So if they have to have a part. But now, once you have gotten all the measurements, do you now have a database?
Yes.
So that you have that, 55 Honda, whatever.
Yeah.
And we have that.
Yeah.
So you can just start
Then it goes
print on demand.
Yep, that's what we do.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
So we started being. We came out of stealth mode in January.
Okay, so this is brand new.
Yeah, we've developed the printers for the rubber and the printer technology to do the very soft rubber. And it's not just to make one part. You got to be able to make the same part over and over and over, and that's always harder. So then we started with rubber specifically because nobody was doing it, and everything on a motorcycle is mounted in rubber.
Yeah.
So we perfected the rubber, then we moved on to the air filters and other plastic parts, and now we're into the metals. So we're going to start making silencers. We are going to make water pump impellers. We're going to make gears. We haven't found any real limitation yet on what we can make.
Yeah.
And if you go into the 3D, so the industrial world calls it additive manufacturing because 3D printing has become known as the cheap Chinese layered little things. But if you go into that world, Porsche's race cars are using 3D printed pistons.
Oh, wow.
You see people with 3D printed titanium connecting rods. KTM's MotoGP team uses 3D printing, Kawasaki's motocross teams, but KTM's Moto3 team, they 3D print parts for that bike constantly.
Wow.
And so it's not hocus pocus stuff now. It's like solid, reliable, stands up to the demands, and has really become a real thing.
So I got a question for you. So you're a rider.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you had a bike that needed a part that started this whole thing. Is that true? Is that?
Well, yeah. There's an element of truth to that. Yes.
Yeah. What bike was that?
So I have a sickness called Carabella. Carabella was a bike made in Mexico from late 60s into the middle 80s. They're actually licensed, in the latter part, they were licensed Motovilla parts. Mexico had horrible metallurgy, so they don't last. And they sit in the corner, and rubber and plastic just degrades.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fascinating just sitting there in the air, come back 5 years later and it's gone. So I needed a couple rubber parts for that. I was designing computer chassis at the time during the pandemic and couldn't get sheet metal part prototypes made quickly, so I bought a printer and started making metal parts. And then once you get into it, you discover, well, hold on a sec, if I can do this, can't I do that? Can't I do that? So it just keeps going and on and on and on.
So how big of parts can you do? Can you do an engine case yet, or can you do a frame?
I can't do a frame yet. There are people who do frames. And so when you say how big can I do, it's basically the equipment that we have.
Yeah.
So the biggest part we can do is about 400 millimeters.
Okay. Yep.
400 by 300, so what's that? 16 inches, 18 inches?
But I'm guessing bigger stuff's coming.
Oh yeah, and I said that's what we can do. There are machines that do bigger stuff, but we haven't found anything we can't make. Technically, we could make engine cases. We have made ignition covers. We are working on clutch covers right now, so we'll have replica clutch covers.
So basically, if somebody's looking for a part they can't find, call you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Call you,
Yeah.
because you also want to build your database.
Yeah.
So how do people find you?
So you find us, the easiest way is on the web. An engineer, so the name of the company has no marketing genius. It's www.replicamotorcycleparts.com. Sorry, couldn't come up with anything.
No, that's great. And you know what else you did? It was smart. You put on the Facebook group, hey, I'm going to be there showing off these 3D parts. Come see me. And I saw that and I said, I want to check it out. Yeah. So hopefully, it seems like just we were watching a few other people and they have these like light bulb moments when they realize,
I mean,
wait, you can make it? Yeah.
It's fascinating. And one of the reasons we invite people to come out, and we're here much more for touch and feel, right? Because there's nobody else doing this. So, I've heard about 3D printing. What's it like? My kid's making a part for a drone or this or that. And it's like, come out and they start, you make rubber. Oh, you make plastic. Oh my God, you make metal. You can make that? Yeah. And you can just see them going through that process of like, holy cow, can you make me this? Yeah, sure. No, it's not a problem. We can do that.
But you were just talking to a guy who had side covers he's looking for an old Honda. And you can do stuff like that.
We do that. We had a guy this morning looking for chain sprockets for a 1927 BMW that did not have a standard pitch like we have today.
Wow.
And it's like, sure, send me the part. He still has parts so I can pull the pitch data off of it. I can make that.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, there you go. Isn't that pretty cool?
It's pretty awesome.
I know.
It's a game changer.
Paul, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for coming over.
Replicamotorcycleparts.com.
Yep, absolutely.
Check it out.
Tell them the Misfits sent you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Hey, this is Naked Jim. Still at, thankfully, AMA Vintage Days here in beautiful mid-Ohio, and it just keeps getting better. So right now the sun has risen on a glorious day here in the most corn-growing place I've ever seen in my life. Maybe not, I've never been to Nebraska, but I'm standing in the infield with a misfit for sure, one of us now, the Guinness record-holding Wendy Crockett. Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Naked Jim. How you doing today?
I am great, and I am curious, but not about all the other feats that you are well known for and have been on the podcast for, but we're standing underneath the booth of Vintage Rides.
Yeah.
And I ride, I like vintage things, so I'm curious. So maybe an overview of what's going on here.
So Vintage Rides is a tour company, and we operate tours all over the world, 20 different countries right now, just expanding into the U.S., and all of our rides are on Royal Enfield motorcycles.
Okay, so now I'm even more curious. So you'll see a lot of companies that do this kind of stuff, the tours over there. So I think probably I'm curious about the nuts and bolts first, right? What's it going to cost me, and what am I going to get for my money?
Well, it depends. We actually have a little something for everybody.
Oh, good to
So
hear.
we have, from our very shortest tours, are actually off-road training classes in France.
Whoa.
That sounds cool. You'll do a day of range work and then 2 days of semi-guided dirt roads around France. So, and
Wow.
that will have the hotels and the nice local eateries and things like that planned out for you. As far as bigger tours, our really accessible tour would be our tours in Morocco, and that's a little bit of a shorter tour. All of them are really focused on cultural immersion and national parks and things like that. But that's a bit of a shorter tour. It's not a lot of aggressive off-roading. And in US dollars, it's going to be like $2,200-300, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So all of our tours are priced in euros, so I do the conversion off the top of my head. But it's under the $2,500 price range for that.
Yeah.
So you cover your flight into whatever given country is calling your name, and pretty much everything is covered from there on out. All the way up to, we have a brand new tour in Patagonia. That one is running about $6,300 with the conversion rate. That's a much longer, several week long tour.
Okay.
And then as far as the type of riding you'll find on the tours, we have everything from our luxury tours. That's just a couple hours of riding every day, maybe 85 miles, mostly all paved roads, really nice hotels, really nice planned out meals, to our adventure end of the spectrum. Those are going to be the rides that you're going to do on the Himalayas. you might have a couple hundred miles of aggressive off-roading, sleeping in yurts, eating your meals from little food stands and things like that. So we have a whole spectrum of adventure depending on what's calling your name.
I love it. Well, we're out the gate. Just the kind of the big thing is the price is totally affordable. Like, because if you're in the market, I'm going to go travel internationally. Somebody's going to hook me up. You know it's going to cost. But I think that's a very doable price range for what you can get. And I want to ask more about the training in France, but it's kind of cool that...
Wait, does it come with the brie?
Does it? It certainly could. We can make special arrangements.
Forget the cheese. We want the pastries. Live to ride, ride to eat.
And wine.
But it's kind of neat that you could even ramp up. You could start by doing some training and get your international feet wet a bit. Learn how to travel internationally. Spend some time there. I do love the idea if you could do your training and go across the Strait of Gibraltar right to Morocco. But tell me more about what the trips you offer. Where do you go? What are kind of the places maybe other people don't so much?
Man, so we really pride ourselves in offering tours in countries that not a lot of other people think to go. And there's a lot of beautiful places. We offer a lot of different tours in India, Nepal, Bhutan, places like that.
Jim, where's Bhutan?
Okay, I have to fess up. I actually had to ask Wendy, how do I actually pronounce Bhutan? Which is a lovely, correct me if I'm wrong, a Buddhist country that's nestled somewhere between India and China.
Very well done.
Yeah, and it sounds like a love. So I am curious about Bhutan since we're on it. Tell us more about that tour in particular.
Well, the cool thing, though, what makes Bhutan a really interesting destination is they were actually closed. They had closed borders to travelers up until like 1972-ish.
Wow.
So they have not been open to travel for long, and even still they have really strict limitations on how many people can travel in the country. So it's a really unique destination for that reason. But it's when you think of classic Himalaya mountains and the monasteries and the just beautiful colors and incredible food, that's the experience you'll have on the Tibet, the Bhutan tour. Yeah. But it doesn't have a lot of aggressive off-roading. It has a lot of nice paved roads and a lot of interesting off the beaten track stuff. While we have other tours in the same Himalaya region that we go to the Mustang Valley, that's one of our most aggressive off-road tours. Just, back to back, you're going to have totally different experiences right in there. Wow. So,
and typically, how long does a tour last? Or again, does it depend?
So it depends. It can go anywhere from 5-6 days all the way up to 3 weeks plus.
Okay. And I'm trying to picture in my mind now, who's our tour guide going to be? What might you have to pick your tour. Let's go with one of your favorites or one you think people might like hearing about. How does your day start? Who's your guide?
So, let's talk about Rwanda, because Rwanda is one of those destinations.
That gets your attention, doesn't it?
Yes, because Rwanda and Mongolia were the first two. They're stunning. They're just visually stunning places to visit, and they're not places that people think of when they think of doing tours, especially Rwanda.
No, dude, I saw the movie.
Most people are like, oh, why? And then you really start looking at it and thinking about it, and it's not a highly visited country for tourism. One, that makes it really high on my list, because you are going to fly into this country and you're going to have a much more authentic experience. Exactly. You're going to have a much more interesting cultural experience. People are genuinely excited to see visitors and see these cool vintage looking bikes are really attention grabbers. Our fleet of Royal Enfields in Rwanda, as far as we can determine, are the only Enfields in Rwanda. So they're really, really unique bikes. But you'll fly into the capital, and from there it's a lot of short hop days, about 100-mile range. But you're going through national parks that have some of the only wild silverback gorillas on the continent. You're going...
Jim, you'd be another silverback gorilla.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I was referred to such, but yeah.
Stand in small villages right on lakefronts. You have some of the best bird watching marshlands in all of Africa. So all these things, exactly, you never would have thought. You have just this absolutely stunning crossroads of bird migration routes. And to sit there and take all of this stuff in, and you go, Who knew? Just such stunning beauty, and you're right across the border to Tanzania, and you have some safaris that are possible to add on there, and a lot of really amazing stuff in a really unique destination. So that's what calls my name.
All right, I have a question. So I want to give you an opportunity. I want you to ask him 3 questions, and from his answers, I want you to recommend which trip you think would best suit him.
Okay. How would you rate your level of off-road riding?
What scale are we using?
No, thank you. To I'm getting ready to do the bar show to Vegas.
I'm scared. I typically I get scared a lot. I typically, when I ride beyond my ability, it's out of I didn't think it was going to go like that. But I would say I'm a solid average big bike ADV guy, dirt bike ADV guy. But I would not call myself a good dirt bike rider.
Okay.
He's competent in sand.
Okay.
So I've done plenty of adventure riding and all that kind of stuff. So
All right.
yeah.
So we might be thinking about a motorcycle ramble for you that has 4 to 6 hours of riding a day, and it might have about 20% off-road, but keeping you on small roads, heavily paved.
2 more questions. Let's narrow it down.
Okay.
All right. So, do you prefer more like heavy focus on like busy culture interactions, or do you like more wide open spaces?
So I do a lot of motorcycle camping, a lot of times by myself. I enjoy time by myself, but it's also hard to find people to ride with sometimes. So my moment of zen is being in the Mojave Desert completely by myself, either watching the sun come up or watching the stars or whatever it might be. So I am definitely put me out in the middle of Mother Nature. I enjoy the company of others, but I don't need it.
All right. And do you have like a temperature range that you are comfortable with?
Good question.
Well, what I've learned from experience, which is where most of my hard lessons come from, and I guess we're talking about humidity too. So most of my experience is in the desert or the high Sierras. Anything over 85, I'm real cautious. I don't go far from camp. I got a lot of water. Anything over 90 in dry heat, it's a no-go for me.
All right.
And cold, I've ridden in the low 20s in the high Sierras in the morning having a great time. So, but the heat I know will kill you.
So based on that, I am going to say Namibia.
Oh,
I gotta get my atlas out again. All right, hang on.
I have a map.
Is that like in Narnia? Is that a Narnia place?
Oh, here's a map.
So Namibia is just
Look
above
at
South
that.
Africa. It's a lot of beautiful desert riding, maybe a little bit more off-roading than our standard ramble, but it's mostly like sand stuff. It's not real aggressive like death road battle stuff.
Gotcha.
Really kind of infrequent interactions, but when you do, it's mostly like the nomadic herders that live in the area. So a lot of, this is the kind of tour where we carry our own gas just in case that one dude that has buckets of gas
the
is
plastic
asleep when
bags
you
of
get
gas.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of really fantastic nature, a lot of really fantastic scenery.
That is my jam.
Now, I'm going to add one more, I guess, question, but I think I know the answer. How nice of a hotel do you need to stay in, or can you sleep in a yurt on the ground?
I can easily do both. Now, I will say sometimes sleeping on the ground is not really vacation. But as far as if I could get access to nature and natural beauty, I would sleep on the rocks in a garbage bag. So yeah, I'm down for whatever.
So sticking with the Namibia?
I'm sticking with Namibia because I went off of you like camping in the desert.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I took that. None of our trips are really like full-time sleeping in the dirt. Even when we're in places like Mongolia, we work with local families and things like that. So you might be staying in a guest house with families.
Okay, and really the most important question, since it's about me, where is the best food? Where do you think who has the best food?
Man.
Or the food that you should go try?
Vietnam?
We'll say the food you should go
I was
try.
going to say Vietnam, Thailand are both amazing. And then, of course, India. India is such a big place. I mean, that's like saying the U.S. has great food. India is a massive country with different regions. But, yeah, I'm into the really flavorful through spices and things like that. That appeals to me.
Okay, if we have time, a couple more questions.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Okay, real quick. What tour, if I'm new to this game, like I've been riding for 2-3 years, I like this kind of adventure thing, it calls to me, I'm really not sure what to do. What's the right tour for you there?
Start in Morocco.
Okay.
Yep, it's your very tame traffic interactions. It's not really wild in terms of, going to Ho Chi Minh City or something like that, where you are learning a whole new level of chaos and maybe riding on the wrong side of the road for the first time and that type of thing. And it's a little bit of a shorter tour, so it gives you an opportunity to see if you like it, if you're riding with a pillion, see how they like touring, that type of thing. All with really nice accommodations and short days.
Okay, and I'll go the other end of the spectrum. You see this guy saunter up, he just got off his GSA with all the stickers on it, and he's got the swagger, and he's kind of checking it out, and you want to throw something at this guy who's done a lot of it, right? I've done this tour, I've gone with this, and you want to show him something different. And we're going to show you something different. What would that
Wait, I want to add to that. He's in all climb gear, and all of it is pristinely clean.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes the image just a little bit.
Yeah, he's not one of us.
Got it. So among our most aggressive tours would be Tanzania as a long, aggressive off-road tour, and then the Mustang Valley tour.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
So if you could compare one of those to like a BDR, Nevada, California BDR, if you've ridden those, I've been around them, I don't know. Harder, same in the ballpark?
I would say they're going to be the same to a little harder.
Okay, so have your game.
Yeah, the level of remoteness, I think, is what takes people by surprise. So not only is the riding often very technical, very rocky, you will often find, rivers washing out the road or rock slides you need to get past and that type of thing. But I think people are really surprised with how remote that is if something does go wrong, or they worry about things going wrong.
Right. Well, I think if you're on a ride with vintage rides, everything will go smooth as the Silk Road, is what I'm thinking. So.
No, Africa, South America, Asia. These are all these great destinations. There's really something for everybody.
And I think the Royal Enfield, it's great. It's an accessible bike. Pretty much anyone can throw a leg over it and have a good time on it. It's a great setup. I really love what you guys are doing.
And what I love to tell people is we bring you as close to real adventure as you are likely to get without risking your vacation.
Right.
So we take you on these roads that might be aggressive, but they're scouted. We have local knowledge. And
And one quick one. What's the one thing any adventuring motorcycle in different countries needs to be able to, how do you be cool with everybody when you roll into town?
Oh, when you roll into town, I thought you were asking about on the tours themselves, and in which case we do interviews with people to make sure that you are in a well-matched group.
Yeah. Oh, I just meant when you pull into Bhutan, and how do you make good with the friendlies, like the locals? Do you wave? Do you smile? Do you give them a pack of cigarettes? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that depends on the country too. But we have
good point.
We have local guides.
Yeah.
So
guides.
the local guides that know the nice villages and the nice time of day to catch that farmers market and that type of thing. But I'll say it again, the bike is a real eye catcher.
Yeah.
You often don't have to work hard, and I've done a lot of riding on Enfields, and you don't have to work hard for people to walk up to you and go, "What is
You've
that?"
just done a lot of riding.
Yeah.
Yes,
A lot of riding. By the way, also, I wanted to thank you for being an integral part of our burnout contest team last night.
I was honored to
What'd
have
you
been invited.
think? First time here at Vintage Day.
That was this is
the
the
first time in the campground.
first time in the campground. I feel like I found my people. We found this.
And that says something. If you could have witnessed what happened last night, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
Just to give a little taste, Wendy grinning ear to ear, MotoGP on fire, and at some point I was ripping duct tape and hair off of your husband's back.
Yeah,
It all happened.
If I could have bottled her emotion at the burnout competition where they're dumping beers on Pete and his head's on fire, I think it could have been the happiest moment in your life. I'm not
It
sure.
was the happiest moment, I'm going to say. And I say that with no shame, having a wonderful husband and a wonderful daughter, that was the happiest moment of my life.
Who are both here enjoying this too.
And you were so thick in the mix. You were as thick in the mix as anybody.
No, you joined our campsite this year. It's been a fun experience. We still got a lot more, but you came here to do this. You're manning the booth. You're putting in the time. I appreciate it. Sharing everyone about Vintage Rides. how do people find out more about it? Where can they go and sign up?
They can go to vintagerides.travel. We also have vintagerides.com. That is the French site. That will be Google translated into English. Vintagerides.travel is the written by me translated, where I took all the low-key sexual innuendo out. So depending on how much innuendo you want in your tours, you can pick vintagerides.com.
We want plenty. We want boatloads. Yeah. Keep it on.
All right, Jim, let's get you signed up for Namibia.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to send me something stupid here. Yeah, I am super down. It sounds like a great adventure.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Well, as John and I are wandering around, checking out all the booths here at the infield.
Some fanboying out.
Of course, we run into another friend of the show. We got Mark from Mimi and Moto. Hey, Mark.
Great to see you guys. Nice to see you again. This is 3 days in a row.
I know.
I'm in heaven. 3 days in a row. Liza is great.
Didn't I see you doing a burnout with a candle on your head last night or something?
Incorrect. I went and watched some of the burns. I am not. The only two wheels I've been on is I've been two up with her a few times. Thank you very much, by the way, for the hospitality and the rides.
We'll get to that. So, just as a reminder, you and your wife Nancy wrote Mimi and Moto, these children's books. We've promoted it on the show. I know Emma loves it. We have a lot of our listeners have bought it for their children, grandchildren. Now you're out here making a big play here at Vintage Days. So tell us what you're doing here with your booth.
Man, this is the first time we've had an opportunity to come out here to Vintage Motorcycle Days. I stopped by here real fast in 2019, but this is the first time that we're actually setting up a booth here. The AMA have been fantastic supporters of Mimi and Moto. I mean, actually, even before they knew it, because it was the use of their AMA monthly magazine that we gave to our daughter when she was 1 on the potty. She was looking at motorcycles, and that's what started all this stuff off. So the AMA has been responsible for this longer. But they started carrying our books in the Hall of Fame back in 2017. So we knew that this was sort of on the list of events that we wanted to do, and the schedule this year sort of freed itself up. And man, it's been great. We've got a wonderful spot here near the big AMA tent right down on the infield. So we're here with all of the Mimi and Moto books. We're here with our T-shirts and our yard signs and our stickers and everything else. We're also here with our All Kids bike booth. We're good friends.
Twofer.
It's a twofer. We're good friends with Ryan McFarland, with Strider, and he's given us all the supplies. So we've got a nice All Kids bike activation here. We're promoting the program. We're looking for people that want to support, donate, maybe bring the program into a school. We've also got a riding area set up for the kids. So it's a great spot. The weather is beautiful. You guys are awesome, and it's been a great first day and a half here at Vintage Motorcycle Days, and this will be on the list forever going forward.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. So
I'm looking at T-shirts. You got any Stumpy-sized T-shirts around here?
Dude, everything is a Stumpy-sized T-shirt for you. However, I will let you know we are going to come out. We used to have some adult shirts. We made one big mistake merchandising. By the way, anybody listening to this, don't ever make a T-shirt that's white.
Oh, no.
Terrible idea. So anyhow, we are going to do I want to do a black T-shirt with a little saying on the front. But we're going to start doing some adult-sized shirts. You know, I think for us with what we're doing, we're limited by imagination and creativity from the standpoint, and capital as far as doing new stuff. But we do, in honor of you, Stumpy, we are going to make sure that next year at this event there will be Stumpy-sized T-shirts available for everybody.
All right, high five for that.
Love you.
So you're having fun here at the event, and I stopped by, said hi. I'm like, so what are you doing in the evening, Mark? And you didn't really have any plans, right?
I had no plans. You know, typical plan was to go find some food, but Liza generously gave me a ride down to the other end of the facility where I saw...
What was it like riding two up with Liza?
Man, it was unbelievably pleasant, and I'll leave it at that. How about that? I won't go any farther than that.
Could have went a couple different directions.
But I was brought over to the compound. I was made to feel like I've been there for many years. I was fed. Mm-hmm. I was provided beverages. I had good conversations. We saw a bunch of the burnout stuff. And then Liza was unbelievably generous to give me a ride all the way back here to the other side of the facility. So thank you very much for that. I really
did you have fun last night?
I had a blast. Yeah, I had a blast. It was fun just sitting around talking with people. It was fun watching the burnout stuff. It's amazing here how many different scenes there are. This is a scene. That camping area over there is a scene. There's a scene in the woods, on the track. Tonight, I guess the flat track's going to be going off someplace.
Yep. And in the swap meet.
Oh my gosh, there's Maurice. Oh my gosh, you're going to step right into the interview, my friend.
I'm sorry.
Hey, No, we're all friends here. That's what's great about it.
There's friends. And that's what I think is great about Vintage Motorcycle Days is stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we're so honored to be here. We're so honored to be the association, and the support we've had from the AMA has been awesome. And I think what we really want to try to do is continue to work with them to continue to make sure that this event attracts families and kids. You know, so we've got our all kids bike riding area over here, all the Mimi and Moto stuff. I can see over there the Stasic riding area.
Yep.
So you've got the kids jumping on those bikes over there. I mean, this is really what it's about. You know, from the standpoint of this event going forward, and bringing more people out. You've got to get the young kids. You got to get the short little people interested, because those are the ones who are going to turn into the future Stumpys and Liza.
Somebody's got to buy all these motorcycles.
Somebody's got to do it for sure. So, we're excited to be a part of it.
I just have one last question for you. What time am I picking you up tonight?
I think that you should pick me up. Let's say, how about let's do 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. You got
Back
it.
to the compound. I'm ready for night 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're cooking corn tonight.
I'm
We
ready.
got to get on that.
Thank you so,
All right.
thank you so much. You're a
man.
and you. So everybody listening to this to know, you need to know how passionate Liza is about this event, and not only being a part of it, covering it, letting all you folks out there know what's going on. Her feedback to the festival to try to make little tweaks here and there is fantastic. You know, I think what you have here is just a bunch of people coming together. The analogy you used last night is great. That this is in the United States, it's almost like the Burning Man of the motorcycle world, because this place goes full on at night. It's what's that damn movie? Mad Max. All that stuff. That's how you feel like. So it's fantastic. But thank you for everything. Thanks for chatting with us. And
bigger and better tonight.
We'll see you at 7 o'clock.
All right. Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Liza here at Vintage Days, and we are surrounded by two-strokes, mini bikes. We got over this fence here, we've got the road racing track, so you're going to hear an announcer, sounds going on the other side of this RV. We've got the wall of death, so you may hear sirens and clapping sounds. There's so much action going on here at Vintage Days. There's no corner you can escape it, really. So paint that picture. There's so much going on, and I couldn't be happier in this environment. So yesterday I signed up to do the lap for history, as I call it. It's not a race, but guess who won? I did.
I passed you.
I'll tell you, the rules of this race are that.
Are Liza's rules.
Yeah. The rules are, but what do they tell us for it? You can't pass the head marshal, right?
Yes.
Cannot pass the marshal. Where were you when we crossed the checkered line?
I don't actually know. Probably right at the very back.
So my rule is, as long as I haven't passed the marshal, but I'm the first person behind him to cross the line, I win.
Makes sense to me.
See, everyone agrees.
But no one cares.
I know, except for me. Anyway, we're lining up for the lap of history and looking at all these crazy bikes. I mean, there's big touring bikes. There was is it Honda, a Jazz? Is that a Jazz? The little Jazz scooter? And I'm like, make sure that doesn't pass me.
I saw him, the 50cc.
Yeah, a little 50cc, right?
Throwing us so
You
much
got
stuff.
everything. And just looking at all the bikes, and I look over, and not far from me, about 10 feet away, I saw something interesting. I saw a motorcycle with just one handlebar, basically. I'm like, what? And I look over, and the rider's got his left arm up in a sling. So I pulled right up to him. I said, I have so many questions for you. So we are here with Charles. Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I have those questions for you now. So you did the lap of history yesterday.
Yes.
One-handed
Yes.
on a slightly modified bike. What are you riding?
I'm on a 1988 Honda NX125. And it is mostly stock, other than the really questionable repairs done by previous owners and the more questionable ones done by myself.
Mainly lopping off the left handlebar.
So, I lopped off the one side of the handlebar just kind of as a joke and kind of because I figured that would make it really hard for anyone else to try to ride it. I had taken the controls from that side and simply moved them over to all on the right. So I have a clutch lever located just above my front brake lever. I have the horn and turn signal controls that I never use anyway, located nearby, and then as well as everything that you would usually find on the right side.
So we've interviewed Mert Law, who works with riders, amputee riders. We've known people who ride with disabilities, and it's really cool that people do it, that they don't let something stop them. And I remember I was very impressed, and I said, how long have you been riding like this?
I think I said 2 weeks, but
That's why I'm going to get in front of you now.
I counted in my head and I realized it has actually been about 3. July 3rd was my first hop back on the bike. Now,
Wow.
that wasn't actually because I was waiting, I was healing. It was because I couldn't get the bike to run right.
So let's get to how you came to be a one-armed rider. So you've been riding a long time, I assume?
For 15 years or so.
Okay. Dirt, street, what's your flavor?
Primarily dirt. I really like going out and exploring back roads. I love being on the dirt. I love being able to slide. If there's traction, it's just, I don't know, it makes it less exciting for me.
So what happened to bring you to this one-armed position?
Well, my best friend and I go on about a week-long motorcycle trip every year. And last year, that trip ended up being the KAT down in Kentucky. It's a just under 1,000-mile loop. It stands for the Kentucky Adventure Trail or Tour.
Okay.
I can't remember which. Awesome route. Highly recommend. And we had gone down on our bikes to do that for our trip that year. He was on a CRF 250 Rally, and I was on a KTM 640 Adventure. And we were having the absolute time of our lives down there, just screwing around, having a good time. And I think on the evening of the third night of riding, I don't actually remember the accident, but I remember going onto the road, and I kind of got it explained to me later on. I was coming around a broad left-hand turn on a small forest road in Tennessee when a driver in a 90s Chevy pickup truck who was on apparently large amounts of amphetamines just didn't really make the turn and just came into my lane. I'm not exactly sure what I tried to do, but he kind of clipped the side of the front of the bike and the handlebar. The bike actually wasn't damaged that severely. I'm repairing it now. I, however, hit the front of the truck head on with my body, hard enough to the point where it broke the cab off the frame, shoving it into the bed.
Whoa.
I didn't know I could do that. I'm probably not going to try it again.
Yeah, not recommended.
Yeah, 0 out of 10 on that experience. Leaving a bad Yelp review right now.
But that does kind of make you sound like you're part Superman a little bit.
I was thinking like Lee Majors, the $6 million man. You run fast, but you go slow, and you get a sound effect.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say you're a machinist and designer and work with robotics?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Come on. Fess up.
I haven't put any cybernetic enhancements in yet.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
So, as a result, it looks like you had quite a few injuries. I can see a bunch of scars on you.
Yes. No, that was just from, I accidentally put a signal. No, I'm just kidding. So my legs are all titanium rods now. They didn't actually replace any of the joints. Fortunately, I was wearing knee braces.
Good to hear.
In the ride, and I didn't have any knee injuries. Now, granted, the bones were broken just above and below, but a joint injury is honestly harder to recover from than a bone injury.
I love to get the reports on what gear helped.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So, and I had just gotten those as a birthday present a few weeks prior, and I'm so happy that I had them because I think learning how to walk again would have been that much more difficult if my joints
Without
were all...
knees? Yeah.
Yeah, without knees. And what's funny is I'm 36, but if you're a few years older, they'll oftentimes, if they're doing the bolt into your into the head of your hip, or if they're fixing a knee injury, they'll actually replace the joint at the same time. They told me that I was too young. I don't think they understand that I ride 7,000 miles on a bicycle just about every year.
Wow.
So I'm all old and used up by this point.
Oh, just wait, it gets better.
Oh yeah. You're like, man, but wait, there's more.
Wow. So your injury is extensive, but you seem to have come back from it, with the exception of you lost the use of your left arm.
Yes. So I have what's called a brachial plexus injury. What had happened in my case is there's 5 nerves, 1 per vertebrae, that go out to each of your arms. And in my case, 4 of those were completely torn out of my spine, even taking some of the nerves on the inside with them. 2 of those vertebrae were broken in some way or another. I never got a clear explanation on that. And the 5th remaining nerve was badly damaged. It was stretched, partially torn, something. So basically I had some movement in my shoulder, but that was it. I essentially woke up in a hospital, and then a few days later when I was on a little bit less pain medication, it's just kind of like, well, my arm doesn't work. That's strange. And that has definitely involved a learning curve, although at this point I'd say I'm definitely getting used to it. My arm is expected to eventually recover somewhat. They're not quite sure how much yet, but
Wow.
I am starting to get little twinges and impulses. I have a weekly therapy I go to, and just last week I, sent the message to my arm to flex my bicep harder than I ever have, and it just like did a little imperceptible blip.
That's amazing. But you don't have time to wait.
That's where the journey starts, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have time to wait. So when did you set your mind to get back on a bike?
Well, people always say that they ask the people around them if they want, their opinions on it. And I honestly only took one person's opinion in the case, and because his was the only one that mattered, and that's my son.
Nice.
He just turned 12 just this past weekend.
We just saw him right off on a burly 2-stroke.
That was the burly 2-stroke you heard in the beginning of the interview. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, he loves that thing. And I asked him because, mind you, imagine this. It's about to be your 11th birthday, and all of a sudden you find out that your dad is in a hospital. He can't come home. You can't go see him. I can't imagine what went through his head with all that. And I asked him, and he said, make sure you're being safe about it, but you love it, and you should keep riding. And I think, he wants to ride with me too. He keeps asking if we'll go out, which we will in a little bit.
It also sounds like he understands too.
Yeah.
He gets it.
He knows the 2 wheels.
Yeah.
So I've never been able to stay off 2 wheels. I've always been on bicycles, and then as a kid I always thought cars were really cool, so I guess it was only natural that motorcycles came along too. So honestly, I think I didn't realize how long my recovery would be initially. I was kind of hoping, maybe I'll get back on at the end of summer, and then it becomes maybe I'll get back on the fall, and then spring, and then later spring happens, and like I say, I just can't. I have several other bikes, but this is the only one small enough that I can really just not have, like, even if I lost control of it,
Right.
you just, hit the brake, it stops.
I have to imagine at some point you're in your recovery, maybe lying in your hospital bed, lots of time to think about things, and you must have been thinking, what do I have to modify to make this work?
Exactly. I had a lot of time to sit there on my phone, a lot more than I ever want again. And I hopped online and basically once I kind of knew the extent of my injuries and what to expect my recovery to be, I started reading about what other people had done. I started looking at pictures. I'm very visual, so honestly, simply seeing a picture of what someone had done would do more for me than ever having them tell me. and just kind of reading on what people recommended. There was actually a Facebook support group for that specific injury, and the flat tracker, who I can't think of his name, I believe is in that, or
Bert Law, or
I think the one that you're.
Bert Law makes prosthetics for people to be able to continue riding.
Is he the flat tracker? Or?
He was a flat tracker. I think he was a Grand National champion.
Yeah, like 70s era.
Yeah.
Road
Okay.
Harleys, yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the disabled motorcyclist group. In one of these groups he was in, and I think I had sent a message at some point. If he said if I need anything, he would give advice or give help.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy.
And honestly, I was kind of wondering all these things. You don't know what it's like to get back on until you actually do it. I have one arm now. Is this going to be totally different? Am I going to fall off? Am I going to do my favorite motorcycle pastime of running directly into a tree? Who knows?
Will it still hurt?
Well, not on my left arm, at least.
So I have a question. What has been kind of the biggest challenge for you hopping back on? Was it something you expected or something you maybe didn't expect?
Honestly, getting back on it, other than getting used to operating a clutch with a different part of my body, the riding around, the leaning, it all feels just about exactly the same. Now, I've been on a slow bike, so I haven't really had to deal with, major G-forces of any kind, accelerating, stopping, or turning for that matter. That thing's not going to do any of that with high performance. But, I've always kind of gripped the bike with my legs anyway, and I just kind of hopped on one day once I got the clutch and everything assembled and told my son, hey, grab the camera. I'm going to go try riding up the street. And I did. And then the next thing, I was like, all right, well, this bike's out of gas. And I know there's a gas station at the end of the street, but the one that has ethanol free is about 8 miles away. I better go to that one. I don't want to leave ethanol in my tank for summer.
Right.
So I have, first off, an observation. You said you're a machinist, designer. You didn't use any of those skills on modifying this.
Well,
You just made, it's just function, pure function, right?
yeah.
So I want to, Bagel, you're somebody who's done a lot of modifications. Can you kind of describe what you're looking at and what you think?
So what I'm seeing is there is an additional lever on the right-hand side, just above the brake lever, that is a slightly shorter lever that's used for the clutch. So I'm guessing that you can probably pull the clutch in with 2 fingers and then the brake lever with your other 2.
That's correct.
Right, and it's a genius setup, and I can totally see how it works. I think it's brilliant.
So I also noticed you move the controls that are on the left, be the turn signal and the horn, down near the triple tree. That means you have to take your hand off the bar to do the turn signal. Do you use your turn signals?
No.
Okay, that's fine. We can move on.
And if you notice, there's only 2 on the front, and they're not even actually wired.
So I'm curious though. So you have the throttle in your right hand, and the upper lever where the brake usually would be is the clutch, and below that I said the longer lever. So does that mean you're able to roll off, pull the clutch in? How do you let the clutch out while rolling on? How do you do that?
I control the brake with my ring finger. I control the throttle with my pinky, and then I squeeze the clutch with my pointer and ring finger. I don't know. It's a lot of things to do with one hand, but I guess I've just been getting used to. You open a pill bottle and take out some pills with one hand. If you can't set the thing down, you have to hold the cap. You have to hold the bottle. You have to get the pill out. And
I kind of think about riding dirt. A lot of times you're just kind of barely holding onto the bars with that little pinky, and your other fingers are kind of floating around free. So I could see it not too much of a stretch, but still would scare me.
I mean, who holds on to the handlebars?
True. And so how did you do on the lap for history on the track?
I was having a great time. I need to rejet the bike a little bit, so honestly, I would have been going even quicker if I could get the thing to have a top end.
What do we got here? Oh, a little scooter.
Ratty looking.
So I'm curious too, when you went to sign up for the Laughter History, did anyone at any point question or tell you can't do it?
I've never asked anyone if I can't do something.
There you
I
go.
wait for them to tell me, and then I'll simply argue with them otherwise. In this case, they didn't. I went up there and I just asked them what my clothing requirements were. Actually, I was like, "Do I need a jacket on? Do I need boots on?" And they just told me what clothes I need. Kind of looked at me and were like, "Oh, and wash your bike. There's dirt on it."
Bagel, what do you think? Do you think could you improve on this setup?
I don't think there's much room for improvement. The only thing I could think is if you made a custom housing that had the turn signal and the horn with the kill switch all in the same housing, so you could reach it while your hand is on the bars. And maybe with your machining skills, you could design something like that.
I have thought about printing something like that, but that would also require me to get the turn signals working in the first place.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
And the horn.
Yeah. But if you're riding it in the dirt,
Wow, look, there's a really clean one right there.
I know,
yeah.
really clean one.
Yeah.
Have you considered a scooter?
Yes. Actually, I hear that you're a Vespa guy, and I've been wanting to pick up a 50s through 70s Italian scooters. I mean, maybe not necessarily for the ease of riding, but honestly just because I think they're cool.
Yeah. Well, they would be tough to ride with one hand, though, because they have the clutch and shift on the left-hand grip. The vintage Vespas do.
I can fix that.
Okay.
Or you can just get one of the Vespas that doesn't have
Yeah,
that.
modern ones are twist and go, so you can use that all just with your right hand. And
I want something with dents and scratches.
yeah,
What about like a Bajaj or something? Are there any vintage scooters that are twist and go?
not really. I mean there's the Honda Elites and Yamahas from the '80s that are twist and go.
I used
But
to have a Helix.
oh yeah, Helix would work great.
Yeah. Elite 250.
And I think the Fuji Rabbit is twist and go with just the right hand side because it is an automatic transmission. So that's a possibility.
Are Fuji Rabbits here in the States?
Oh yeah, they're not super common, but they're around. Yeah, look up Fuji Rabbit. It's a very interesting late 50s, early 60s Japanese scooter.
Well, there you go. That sounds weird enough to be up your alley.
You actually, I mean, yes, absolutely. I mean, I clearly have common motorcycles if you look around. And then I drive a 40-year-old Range Rover as my car every day. I drive a stick every day just because I think it was another situation if I didn't ask anyone if I could. I was just like, I'm just going to go figure out how to do this.
Yeah. So you use a knee and when you need to. And
Actually, I've gotten more flexible. I keep my seat back, and I full on use my foot.
Oh, wow.
And that way I can do more full turns.
Oh,
and
wow.
If I'm like eating a sandwich or something.
because you got to eat,
Yeah.
It's important.
I find it interesting that you're not seeking out bikes that are already would work for you, like a Honda-Matic or any of the new Hondas. I have a DCT Africa Twin, no clutch, right? You're not seeking those out.
Nope.
You're like, I'll figure it out. I think you also like the challenge.
Well, exactly. I'm not going to do these things because they're easy. I'm going to do them because they're hard, right? That's the candy quote. But I think I also have to add maybe kind of dumb on the end of that too.
So what is your next challenge?
So I'm actually starting to put back together the bike that I was in the wreck on.
Oh, 640.
Yes, the 640. I've ridden so many bikes over the years. I put like 80,000 miles on a KLR before it just exploded one day. I don't know why it had such low miles.
Wait, you killed a KLR?
Well, actually,
They say it can't be done.
Okay. Actually, it ran fine.
Okay, there it is.
It just started billowing out a cloud of smoke one day.
Oh, it's fine.
And
Just a flesh wound.
so I kept checking the oil. I was on a kind of a weekend Memorial Day trip with my friends, and we were about 100 miles from home. We had just camped out. And we decided we're going to ride home. Since we're on an off-road trip, we're going to go home and grab my Kawasaki Ninja. Because that makes a lot of sense. And so we took the KLR back home, and to go 100 miles, it used a whole gallon of oil. So something... It actually still ran just fine, but something was wrong with them. Thinking probably a valve seal just tore in half or something.
It will again. So the 640 is going to be quite a challenge.
Yes. So,
Even controlling that, I mean, that's got a lot of torquey power.
and I love that bike though. And so I'm trying to figure out, there's EMF, does auto clutches, and they're in Southern Ohio, so I can actually just drive down there and take the bike with me. I am thinking about doing something where I don't have to use a clutch on the bigger bikes. And steering stabilizer was also another recommendation. I have one of those on my sport touring bike, which is an old Buell.
I would actually recommend reaching out to Mert. This is what he loves doing, is helping somebody figure that out. And there may actually be some sort of an over-the-shoulder harness situation. I know you still have your arm strapped up to your body, but there might be an over-the-shoulder harness that can replicate the stability of a left arm, if that's something you feel you need, because you can use your shoulder leaning in and out, right?
The thing is I honestly don't know that I need that stability, because I feel like I get it through my legs. It's honestly the connection through the handlebar. It doesn't feel that off, turning, leaning. I mean, maybe if I accidentally drop the clutch, I kind of jerk back, but I've done that a couple of times this weekend, and I still went in a straight line when I did it. So it's really interesting. It's not what I would have expected it to be. And in my case, so like I said, I'll still have to see if I need something like that for the bigger bikes. But I'm kind of starting to think that I might not.
Well, cool. I wanted to thank you for sharing your story. In fact, Bagel, you weren't here earlier. I was chatting with him. I was asking how he got this amazing camping spot behind the Wall of Death, and he's figured out a little information about this event. So tell us what you're doing here in this spot.
So I am here in the camping spot in the infield. I have racing behind me, the Wall of Death next to me, all the vendors and the museums on the other side. And there were a bunch of flat trackers camped here, but they went to a race today. And I'm here because I help set up the Wall of Death. I help assemble it each year, and I help tear it down.
Nice.
And some years there has been next to no one, and it is just a couple of us working hard. This year they actually had a lot of people, and they kept trying to push me off to the easy jobs. I'm like, no, I got this, which I probably didn't, but, you know, I'm just going to go for it anyway. But that whole thing gets disassembled and fits onto that semi-truck trailer, and it is one massive, very heavy, and entirely manually assembled Lego set is what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that rad?
And I think there was another little top tip if you're a little short on cash and you want to come here. Weren't you mentioning you might be able to get paid?
So the AMA actually pays me to do this. I sign up with them ahead of time, and they pay you a couple $100 for each day. It's totally not worth it, I think, financially, because it's about the hardest day of work I've ever done. That's why I obviously keep doing it. And then at the end of it, you have to take it all back apart and put it back on the trailer.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I find your story inspirational. I love that you're in that mindset. It never stopped you. I mean, why should it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could sit there and mope and like kind of reminisce, but that's not going to help anything moving forward. It's just like, all right, well, this is different. Better figure out how to go have fun now.
And I'll say I couldn't think of a better inspiration for your son.
That's what I was about to say. For your son, I think that is really great, and to instill in him, nothing has to stop you. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. That's what this says right here. But also, I think for a lot of people understand, just because you may not be able to ride doesn't mean you're not still a rider. And that never goes away. You just didn't let it stop you.
I was never going to.
Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, nice talking to all of you.
You too.
All right, ready?
Ready.
Hey, this is Stumpy John here, and I am standing in the AMA tent in the infield at Mid-Ohio. And as I'm standing here, I'm looking around. I've got a racetrack with vintage road racing going on to the right. We've got motorcycles cruising by everywhere. We've got people signing autographs. We've got people selling T-shirts. I'm looking at a whole bunch of vintage motorcycles. What an amazing spot this is. It's the greatest place in the world to be right now. You should be here. But hey, when I was a youngster, just getting involved early with road racing, I heard about this guy named Steve that was a famous racer that actually knew a couple of my friends. So I grew up looking at somebody's leathers hanging on the wall. So I'm so proud to introduce one of my teenage heroes, C-Wise. And let me tell you a little bit about him, because I know some of our listeners don't really follow racing as much as we do. But he's been called the greatest all-around motorcycle racer of all time. Now check this out. He's the only rider in AMA Pro Racing to win at the AMA 125 National, the 250 National, the Premier Supercross, the ABC TV Superbikers. He was named the AMA Athlete of the Year and an AMA Superbike Road Race National winner. Turned pro at the age of 16. And in 1976, he was the first privateer ever to win an AMA 125 National. And we'll get a little more into some of the other things there. But so Steve, you started out in motocross and eventually made the transition.
I was going to say, Steve, greatest racer of all time. Do you get tired of hearing that?
Well, of course not.
There you go.
I mean, I do know what competition I raced against, and some great racers ever, but overall to speak of in all the different vernaculars of racing, I was able to do something that nobody's ever done. So it's a real blessing.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about your career. So at 16, you turned pro. So talk to us a little bit about the early racing, the 125 racing, and up through the motocross series.
Well, I started out riding motorcycles with my father, and then my father had a Honda shop, which really gave me an extra advantage.
Yeah.
Gave me a big advantage, and that was before the Elsoners came out. So we were trying to ride Honda 4-strokes against the YZs and the RMs and the other, brands with their 2-strokes, and it was really hard. So my father, in his wisdom, he said, I'm going to get the Penton dealership.
Oh, we love Pentons. We've just talked about Pentons.
And the beautiful thing is, Pentons changed my life, because then I began dominating in Texas and winning. And the beautiful thing is, when I was inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame in 2001,
right.
John Penton was in the audience, and I told the story, but I didn't tell what kind of bike it was. I didn't say what my dad got. I just went on, kind of elaborated. My dad got a European motorcycle brand so I could compete. And I said, thank you, John, very much for the... So and he was in the audience, and what a blessing for John Penton to be in the audience when I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then of course, when the CR came out, we disbanded the Penton. The Penton was kind of outdated after that. And so I started racing the CR 125 and the CR 250 around Texas, and I would win most of the time. And then we thought we'll go pro, and then that's kind of what happened. We just kind of went on up there and went to a pro.
What was it like turning pro? Were you racing against like Roger DeCoster and Bob Hanna and some of those guys?
No, not DeCoster in the beginning.
Yeah.
Of course, I was racing. Well, Bob Hanna came in when I was already a pro. In fact, I raced Bob Hanna in '75 and lapped him in New Orleans because he had a heat stroke. But he wasn't a factor ride. He was ready for DG.
Okay.
But then when Bob Hanna came on the scene in '76, we know what happened. He dominated him, and we didn't beat him very much. I beat him some, but not that much. But I raced against all the guys. I mean, Marty Smith, Marty Tripes were my teammates. Warren Reed, Jim Pomeroy, Jimmy Ellis. Those were all my teammates.
Yep.
So, I raced against the premier racers in the world.
Yeah. So one day you woke up in the morning and said, I want to go road race.
Well, no, that's not what happened. Basically, after I won the Superbikers the first year in 1980, and then I won it again in 1981, that's when things began changing, because Freddie Spencer, who was the Honda factory road racing rider, was going to Europe.
Yep.
And so Honda road racing team was going to be looking for another rider. Mm-hmm. And after I won the Superbikers the second year in a row, the Honda road racing manager said, let's give Steve the first opportunity and ride the road bike and see if he can do good. And when I went to Willow Springs and did a test session with them, they liked it and they hired me. So that's how that happened. And
I got a question for you about that. We're looking over here, a nearly identical bike that says Fast Freddy on it, and this bike here of yours says Steve. How come you didn't get a cool nickname?
Well, I was called the Texas Tornado in motocross.
There we go.
In motocross, but I didn't road race long enough to really have a nickname that I could think about.
Should we work on one right now, or are we good?
No, we don't. We're good. You know what? That was. I'm a now guy. I live in the now.
Yeah.
And the past is great. I love it. I love being here. But I'm more of a forward-thinking person. So this is great. I'm
going to give you a better answer.
What's that?
Anyone with the name Steve doesn't need a nickname.
I
Steve
agree.
is cool.
That's right.
That's a cool name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, baby? You missed it.
So talk to me about, you were, I love this quote. I remember sitting there in the front row at Laguna Seca and looking over and seeing Kenny Roberts, Freddie Spencer, Randy Mamola, and Wes Cooley on the grid. And so what was that like racing against those guys? And I think if I remember right, you came in third at Laguna, correct?
I got fourth that day.
Fourth, okay.
We were there last weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. If I would have got third, I would have won the Formula One championship that year. If I would have
3 points away, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, or two or three, something like that. But anyway.
So wait, he was 2 points away from winning the whole series for the year.
I was actually leading going into the last race.
Pretty amazing.
If I would have placed one place higher in any race all year, I would have won the championship. But anyway, but Mike Baldwin had some breakdowns, and I was very consistent. I mean, he was actually more deserving of me than to win the championship because he was faster, but not much.
Yeah.
You know, but Mike's a fantastic road racer. But going back to that quote, here's the way I look at that. Kenny was lucky to be in the rig grid with me.
There you go.
See, I mean,
there you go.
I mean, I could kick his tail in the superbikers.
Yeah.
I would lap his butt. So but for road racing, Kenny Roberts was one of the greatest ever. Freddie Spencer, Kenny Roberts, Eddie Lawson, Wayne Rainey.
Yeah.
At that time, Wayne Rainey and I were dead even. We were dead even. And then, of course, look what Wayne. I got hurt though, and I quit. Yeah. And I look and see what happened to Wayne. I think, God, I wish I could have got a few more years, and I probably wouldn't have Europe to do because
Wayne's
I was
a big fan of our. He's a friend of our podcast.
Wayne is a great person.
Did you see him ride? Was it last year?
Yeah, I did.
That's amazing.
Him and Kevin and Kenny and
Hey, can I ask
go
my
ahead.
question?
Yeah.
I have a question for you because I think one of the reasons you're quoted as being one of the greatest overall racers is going from motocross to road, right? Which now so many racers cross-train because they find those skills cross over. Not so many were doing it back then. What do you think? What skills did you take from dirt to the track that gave you an advantage?
That's a good question because they're completely different. And the thing that really makes me happy, and I'm not sure if I said this earlier or not, maybe I did, but I was racing motocross. I've done so many interviews.
You're good. Yeah.
I was racing motocross at Unadilla against Bob Hanna at the 250 Grand Prix in 1981. And I beat him that day.
Wow.
In 1981 and in the Grand Prix. And 1 year later, I'm on the front row with Kenny Roberts and Freddie Spencer and Randy Mamola and Wes Cooley at Laguna. In 1 year, I went from top world-class racing Grand Prix motocross into Grand Prix road racing with Kenny and Eddie on there.
Amazing.
So and I look back and I go, well, and I will guarantee you, none of those guys in that front row could have done that. I mean, there's no way they could have gone 45-minute motos and won. I mean, I'm not trying to brag.
No.
I know what it means to be a motocrosser. People have no idea the conditioning you have to be in to be a top world-class motocrosser. And then, but Kenny and Eddie and Freddie were incredible in road racing.
Oh, and were you more comfortable with the rear wheel sliding around because of your dirt experience?
Well, you didn't slide road racers that much. A little bit, but not that much.
So, in the 70s, 80s, there were two things I used to love when it came on. One was anytime Evel Knievel jumped anything, and anytime the Superbikers came on. So, and for folks that don't know, the Superbikers was kind of the first precursor to.
And it was one of the largest audiences of the world.
Yeah, so they mixed in road racing, flat track, a little bit of kind of motocross jumps, although not hardcore, and they put it on ABC TV, and you were on that show in front of 30 million viewers, and won. So you were kind of the badass of the Superbikers. So tell me a little bit about the race and what it was like to win that. And I think you beat Eddie Lawson, right? In that
the
couple
times.
Year,
a couple times. Well, Kenny Roberts in there. The first year, Roberts, Freddie Spencer, Lawson, a lot of people in the first year. But then they were so far back they didn't want to come the second year, except Eddie Lawson. Eddie Lawson did. He was very competitive. In fact, Eddie ended up winning a couple years later. But the first year I beat Andre Malherbe, who was a 500 world champion from America, and Ricky Graham, Springsteen, they were all in there as well. And the second year I won. I beat Graham Noyce, got second, and Lawson got third. Eddie Lawson got third, and what it was like, it was fantastic, and that was really kind of my game. I mean, I was able to adapt to all that stuff apparently real good because I won it, and I should have won it a third year in a row, but Danny McGood Chandler beat me for reasons we're not going to talk about. But anyway, it is what it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then one other thing too. So in 82 or 83, you were here. 83, you were here in kind of rough conditions. 2 races. First race didn't go so well. Second race went differently.
No, first race went good. Saturday.
Okay.
I won it.
You won it.
I won it.
Because there was one that I read in one of your bios that said you came from behind at Mid Ohio here to take the lead. No.
Well, that sounds good.
I know. Well, she should adopt that if it's not the case. Tell me about the Mid Ohio race
I
in
don't remember
83.
it that way, but the Mid Ohio race here, the Superbike National. I was dicing with Mike Baldwin, and he actually ran off the track.
Yeah.
And so I ended up winning that event pretty easily.
Yeah.
We were way ahead of everybody else. Fred Merkel got second.
Flying Fred.
And then Sunday here, it was raining.
Right.
And Honda had the NS 500 for me to ride, and I had a hard time going from this heavy bike onto that light two-stroke. That's really what ended my career. But anyway, they had that here, and I said, I'm not riding that thing in the rain.
Yeah.
And I said, I refuse. So I'm riding the 750.
You took this out against the GP
I took
bike?
750 against GP and all the thousands in the rain. I got second.
Wow.
Mike Baldwin beat me, and I got second, beat everybody else.
Wow, that's awesome.
On this thing right here. But it was in the rain. If it had been dry, I wouldn't have ridden this. But
So you're the Grand Marshal here
Yes,
at
I
AMA
am.
Vintage Days. What an honor. I hope you're enjoying it here. And I was honored to be part of the parade lap yesterday, following you around the track. And I'm just curious, when you're out there on the track, does it all come back to you? Do you remember every turn?
You really do. I was reminiscing as I was riding around, reminiscing and envisioning my win back in '83 and just seeing the track. And yes, I really was. And I kind of got emotional. On Thursday, we came here and went around the track on golf carts. Mitch took me around and the head of AMA, Rob. And I really got emotional, the Thursday especially. And then riding it yesterday with everybody, and today it was very moving for me. It was a great time.
Yeah, I was in the crowd, and you're saying it's great to be here on the track, and I think I shouted out, show us the line. I was doing my best on my mini bike to keep
I wouldn't be too good anymore.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time to be with us. And I just, I know a little bit about your post-race story too. And you're out serving people and serving the world, and really you've leveraged all this into a lot of other things. And I just want to just thank you for being a champion on the course and off the course too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Can you get a quick picture?
Sure.
Yeah.